Inside the Backstage Pass, of course, the final show of the week here before we take the weekend off and get ready for the first full week of December. Happy December to everybody out there, too, from all of us here at the Backstage Pass, powered by the Sports Guys Podcast.com and presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey and Honky Tonk, Texas. Of course, you can catch us out there at KKTC True Country 99.9 in New Mexico in the ski town of Taos and up into Colorado up there, too, on the I-25 corridor and streaming at HighTideCountry.net. And it's good to switch things up. Speaking of country, and we get to do a little bit of just great music and great songs. And when I got this gentleman the other day, I said, you know what? He's a fan of sports and music, which is a grand slam of what we do here on the show. Worth Weaver joining us here, member of All the Pretty Things. Worth, what's up, man?
What is up? How are you, man?
It's good to talk to you, man, and good to just connect on this sports music level, you know?
Absolutely. We're actually not as rare as you would think. There's a lot of us sports fans who are also musicians out there. I definitely appreciate you having me on, man.
Man, it means a lot. No problem, bro. Hey, let's talk a little bit about you guys coming together as a band and of course, the name of it, All the Pretty Things, which I really enjoy out there. I think it's very creative. And as far as knowing, a lot of your bandmates there, that camaraderie, the cohesiveness, where did you guys get started? And kind of when did you know, that North Carolina native, you're like, man, we're going to get together and do this music thing full time.
Yeah. So I met the other guitar player, Tristan, whenever he and I were loading into a new recording studio in town. We were, dumping gear in the studio, move-in day. And he and I hit it off from the bat. And, we shared a lot of similar tastes in music. On the sports side, I'm a football guy. He's a rugby guy. So whenever rugby season is going down, I just kind of am the same way he is towards me with football. We're just both kind of like, oh, well, you're passionate about it and you get it. But we met, we exchanged info, and we became very close friends very quickly. And, we always kicked around, hey, man, we should start a band. It would be cool. And so we just put together some demos and started sending those demos around to potential vocalists. And my friend here in town, Logan Tabor, who is our lead singer, he got a hold of the demos and just took it upon himself to track it out completely at his house. And he sent us this knockout demo that we were like, okay, you've got to be the singer, dude. How do we make this work? So we started from there. And then, throughout the time that we were really kind of just writing, we hit up Jeremy, who is the drummer in Alisana. And then we just recently acquired our bass player, Will Sowers, who has played with, he's played with everybody. Collective Soul. He's played with, not Chiodos, Emarosa. He's played with Emarosa quite a bit. He was a founding member of that band. But yeah, now we're all together, and we're just being super. The cohesiveness is there, the creativity's there, and our excitement is just building and building and building for all the music that we are now done with and just ready to get out in the public.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, this one that came out November 15th, just there last week or two ago, Chin Up Kid, man, this one really affected me in a lot of ways. I lost a family member this week, and looking back on something like that, I think it's something where you can really relate to this in a number of ways. For me, I take it different maybe than somebody else when they look at a situation or a scenario that really describes this song, because I feel like songs are so much about storytelling and about really kind of relatability to the individual and kind of what they're going through. And this really speaks volumes to you guys and the fantastic songwriting behind it.
Well, thanks, man. That song has a lot of depth, and there's a lot of meaning that is in the subtext of the song. When Logan originally wrote it, he was basically, from a lyrical standpoint, saying how your heart and your head and your brain, your heart and your mind are having a conversation back and forth. For me, I like you took it from a completely different perspective. I lost a family member several years ago, and that one really just connected to those emotions. And it's a special song for me, and I think it has the ability to resonate with a wide variety of people who have, loss or hopelessness or, any sort of negative vibes towards life. It's really, it's a song that just pushes you through and like, yo, man, you can do it. You got it. Go,
I love that. That's the same scenario I got out of it too. At the same time, the example of going through something like that. I wanted to ask you about, give me one of your kind of the earliest musical memories, like in detail, as far as something that you were like, man, I saw something, I did something, I was at this concert, something impacted me to further pursue this thing called music.
Oh yes, I know exactly the anecdote to share here.
Mhm.
Whenever I think I was in 8th grade, so I was in middle school. I was a kid. I had never played guitar before, and I went with my cousin to a rock show in Myrtle Beach. They have a big House of Blues down there, killer venue. And this was kind of my first taste of freedom. And I remember getting to this venue, and the first real rock band that I saw just crush it in front of me as an 8th grader was this band called the Marvelous Three.
Okay.
Don't know if you've heard of them. Their lead singer is Butch Walker. He started his career with the Marvelous Three. Actually, he had several bands before, but his breakout success was the Marvelous Three. And from there, he became a producer, a songwriter, and now he's just, huge. But that show, I remember standing in the pit at House of Blues and looking and feeling and seeing. And I just decided, I was like, this is what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And from that point on, I left that show. I got a guitar that Christmas. Thanks, Mom and Dad. And I just haven't really stopped since, man. It's just become my life, and now, I record bands. I do a ton of post-production work for film and I have a studio in my house. So it's just become my life, and I wouldn't have it any other way. But that moment, I'll never forget, like looking at the the crowd, the band, and just being like, I want to do that. And I just didn't stop.
It just electrifies you in certain ways, man. It's just one of those things. It's addicting to the soul, and you feel a part of that. You feel that connection, and when you feel that, you're like, man, here's God's calling. Here's what I'm supposed to do, and I'm supposed to play music. And I love those stories now because I hear those things and how much it means to an artist personally. And the furtherly as I go through these shows over the last few years, and I mean, everybody's come on and share their stories about the sacrifice they've made or a family member's made or something like that. So I commend you guys for, giving up what they say, the comforts of a day job, and really going out there and chasing the dream, man, because for one, you're good at it. Number two, there's such great sound and great harmony with this band. And you mentioned that song, Like a Chin Up Kid, has so much depth into it, so much meaning that is just really cool. I can't wait to see what's next coming into 2024 for you guys, which we got to take a time out. We're going to come back and talk to Worth about that here on the Backstage Pass, powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com. And if you missed any interviews, they're always archived there. And 5 nights a week, KKTC syndication show out there at 99.9 True Country in the ski town of Taos, New Mexico, and Pueblo, Colorado, up the I-25 corridor. You also catch us at hightidecountry.net. Coming back with Worth Weaver of all the pretty things here. It is the Backstage Pass. Hang tight. Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass.
The Bangtail Pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
And back here, Worth Weaver on the Backstage Pass from the band All the Pretty Things, talking some football, some music, a little bit of everything, grand slam of sports and music out there. KKTC 99.9 True Country in Taos, New Mexico, and up into Colorado. And if you ever miss a show, powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com. We'll get to some sports talk. And I know it's been a tough season for the Carolina Panthers, but we're going to get to that here in a little bit in rapid fire, no doubt. And of course, the bird on my helmet too is not doing too well this year too. Let's talk about some other singles that you guys had put out in succession of these singles. Teenage Lines. I want to get the backstory of that one.
Okay, so that was actually a song that Tristan, our other guitar player, had demoed out for his previous band that he was in before All the Pretty Things. Mm-hmm. And, he came to the table with that one and he wanted to scrap it. And I was like, dude, my producer brain is telling me this song is just ready to go. Mm-hmm. All we need is just the fire chorus and we're, on our way. And so we ended up, pre-proing it out. We ended up recording it. And then once Logan came in and laid down, his vocals on it, it was just like, okay, this is now the first single. Mm-hmm. And so we launched that one just over a year ago and had a huge response. for a brand new band coming out now, even though we all have, a pretty storied history with tour experience and dealing with the industry in general. It was a big success for us to have such a warm reception. And that song has got a lot of power. It's got a lot of intensity. It's incredibly catchy. And I typically am not one to drop a guitar solo, but it was like, what else do we need in this song? And everybody was like, guitar solo. And I was like, okay, here we go. So it worked out, man. That song's special to me because it's kind of just the inception and the spark that kicked this band off. So it's a great one.
No, good stuff, no doubt about that too. Talk about, for the fans that maybe don't see it out there, Worth, the challenging part of this thing called the industry. You talk about the industry a lot and how much it's ever changing. You look at streaming now, the way it's affecting artists. Like I said, that 0.001 or 0.003, whatever that number is, for like this many streams to get. I think it was what they say, 1,000 streams may equal $1,000 or whatever that number is to do that. If it is that, I don't know if it is, but it's very minimal. I guess a little bit of that, the challenge of that, and there's the challenge in general of this thing called the music industry to go through, put yourself out there, and you definitely just want your dreams to pay off. Talk about some of those challenges that maybe fans don't see.
Oh, wow. And I certainly don't want to come across as sounding negative because I am very grateful for all of the success that I've had in the industry and that we've had as a band in the industry. I mean, right now, you have more control and a bigger platform to get your art out to the masses. With streaming and with Spotify and iTunes and YouTube, like everything is easily accessible when it comes to getting your vision out in front of people. But the thing that I found the most difficult is cutting through all the noise that's out there, because there is there are more artists releasing music. So standing out, and then also getting people to care about your music, getting people to not just hear it and go, okay, that was cool, but like something that pulls them in and makes them really believe in your band, want to be a part of whatever you're creating. And I think that it's challenging to get on that level because we're such a fast food, single serving, here and gone society right now. And I'm pretty old school. I grew up with a lot of like early 90s, mid 90s rock and roll, punk rock. Also, my dad was a huge classic rock fan, so I've got this like 70s, 60s, 70s influence as well. And it's just done so differently. Back in those days, you basically put in your time on the road, put in your time on your instrument in the rehearsal room, because you couldn't be in a band if you couldn't play, unlike some artists today. So, you put in the time there, you put in the years of touring and DIYing it, and then hopefully someone would come along with some money and say, hey, let's put you in front of this audience, because you really didn't have a way to put yourself out there. Now you do. So overcoming the challenge of cutting through the noise, I think, is the biggest thing for us in this current state. But it still is fantastic because it does allow you to have your voice potentially in front of as many people as will care about your art and your vibe.
And also what I love about the streaming side, you may agree with this, you may not, but I love the fact that you can say the name of a band, like All the Pretty Things, or you can say anything out there you want, Bad Wolves or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You put that in iTunes and boom, there's the music at the fingertips, right?
Yeah, it's pretty sick, man. I mean, I don't do Spotify, but I do have Apple Music because they pay more than Spotify. No, but it is super convenient, and it's great to see my favorite band come out with a new record and have it day of. But I'm still a supporter of physical medium. If I love a band, I'm going to buy their T-shirt, I'm going to buy their album, I'm going to buy a hat, because I believe in representing what they stand for and what they believe in, because it's about this kind of like dynamic relationship you have with each fan, when it comes to your art or your music or whatever you're trying to brand yourself as and promote yourself as.
It really is, man. That's what I still love. The concert bug got to me when I was a kid, and I said, look, one day I'm going to host my own music show, and there you go. The rest is history. As many shows as I'd go to as a kid, both in rock and roll and a little bit of country, and I just appreciation for all genres of music out there. We're going to come back after the timeout. We'll talk to Worth a little bit about Carolina Panther football. I know it's a sore subject right now to talk about after the rough season they're having too. But at the same time, new head coach coming on board. Bryce Young was the right pick, and I know you made some predictions in a preseason publication out there. We'll talk about that. Also, I Want You Back, a song that's out there across all the digital platforms, and one called Every Now and Then out there too. More with all the pretty things. Band member Worth Weaver. It is the Backstage Pass, powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com, and out there at KKTC 99.9 True Country, and of course out there at Taos, New Mexico, Pueblo, Colorado, and of course our friends at HighTideCountry.net. Coming back more with Worth on the show. Hang tight.
The Bangtail Pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And, of course, at 10 Mountain Time out there at KKTC 99.9 True Country in Taos, New Mexico. Catch us out there syndicated 5 nights a week and up into Colorado, and anytime at HighTideCountry.net. And, of course, always the Sports Guys podcast.com. Every show lives there each and every day. Check it out Monday through Friday and at 10 Mountain Time on our syndicated stations out there, too. Back here with Worth Weaver on the Backstage Pass, again, presented by our friends at Bangtail Whiskey and Honky Tonk Texas out there, too, as well. Thanks to our sponsors and for all the work that they do. So this one, in succession of singles, mentioned Chin Up Kid, Worth, another song I got to dig into, and actually played it for the significant other last night. She's like, I can dig that too. I Want You Back, which is a single that you guys put out this year too as well, before the latest single, I believe in July, that came out. Talk to us about that one.
Oh yeah, that was a yearning summer jam song. You know, we wanted to just kind of hit you in the face with rock and roll guitars and a big chorus. And Logan came to the table with that idea pretty much out of the gate. And we all just kind of got together, threw our thing on it. We say make it pretty, which, you know, that's one of our prerequisites for our music is, yeah, it can be heavy, it can be nasty, but as long as it's got its pretty top, you know, pretty aesthetic there. But that song also did really well for us, and everyone was super pumped on it. You know, as soon as it came out, super catchy chorus, super heavy riffage, but still really accessible and really relatable. You know, everyone has lost someone and wanted them back. I mean, it's as cut and dry as you can get there with the message, but you know what? Sometimes you need to hear that, and I think that that song struck a chord with quite a few people as well.
No doubt about it, too. That's why I felt in it, too. Definitely feeling that one from Chin Up Kid. And, of course, I Want You Back. Even before that, in March, y'all got to really put out another one that I dug for the work there. I can't wait to see what's on tap for 2024. Every Now and Then. I think this is one that really did well for y'all, too, right?
Yes, and that song, actually, Tristan came to the table with that one. He pretty much orchestrated most of it. And that was the first song that Logan put his demo vocals on. So that was really special to us because that's how we kind of identified that Logan was going to be the guy. Mm-hmm. And he recorded himself so well that we ended up keeping his vocals for the record release, which is really cool, you know. So that song is once again just a yearning, heartfelt, you know, cry out. And you'll see the theme that goes with our music is we want you to feel something. You know, it's not just disposable pop. Like, there's a lot of layers that go into each song, a lot of thought that goes into each song, just to express how we're feeling, either on our instruments or lyrically and vocally. But we want this vibe to hit you and for you to feel absolutely engulfed and overwhelmed with whatever emotion you're getting out of the song. And I think that song really, really does that in such a special way. It's probably one of my favorites on the record because of the depth and just the message behind. I think it's just a sick track.
It is, and that's what great songs are all about too. And you know, I love this that you mentioned that because there's so many younger artists now busting on the scene through. Otherwise, they may not get these opportunities, but they do this through shows and outlets like The Voice. And American Idol and things like that. I think it's really awesome because I'm huge fans of those shows. Anything that stands behind artists to give them a chance to really get out there and spread the word, spread their artistry, because again, they may not have this opportunity on anywhere else. They're not signed to a big label or something. I'm not knocking labels when I say that either, but some people can do it on their own, independent, which is, I know, tough. What's your thoughts on some of these shows and kind of reality singing shows? I mean, of course, to me, The Voice seems like one of the best ones out there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's all about a platform for discovery and connection, So at that point in time, if, let's just hypothetically say I'm an incredibly talented vocalist and, I've done the DIY thing for so long and it really hasn't led me to where I want to be in my career, that might be the catalyst or the platform to get you seen by those people who have the money to invest in your product, your brand, your band, your voice. So I think that they're great. I mean, I really don't prescribe to them as much anymore, but I've had several friends, do the various different, iterations, be it American Idol, The Voice, and say it was a great experience and it got them, some notoriety and it did help push their career forward. So I think they're, anything that's going to bolster and support and push new artists, new music, and creativity forward, I'm all for.
And it's great platforms for artists to stand on, no doubt, too. All right, so I'm going to get to a little rapid fire, but this one won't be so rapid because I'll say this with the pick draft. I know it's hesitant, tough to talk about. It probably makes your skin crawl. For me, it's better with the bird on my hat, too. But it's 2019, 2020, back and forth, one good season. Quarterback gets hurt. There's so many different ebbs and flows of an NFL season. But for you guys, I thought back in the day, number one pick, you get it from the Bears. You see DJ Moore kind of move off. You get a chance to get a head coach like Frank Reich, who I thought was going to be possibly a coach of the year. You knew you were drafting a rookie quarterback in a Bryce Young.
Yeah.
Of course, you get the whole CJ Stroud thing. Never would I second guess some things there. Of course, we all second guess things in life. But how would you assess it? I know it's been painful, no doubt, but what went wrong for the Panthers and what should they have done better?
Man, oh, wow. I mean, I could talk about this for a minute. I'll first of all say that, this is me being an Ohio State fan. I was like, CJ Stroud, come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. So I was a little bummed when we didn't get CJ. Bryce is a little bit smaller. He's super fast, super mobile, and I know that's where the game's going when it comes to a quarterback, and it's worked well for us in the past. Letting C-Mac go the previous year was tough. We did have some great defense come in. Brian Burns has had a killer season.
Mm-hmm.
Losing DJ Moore hurt us, man. He was a weapon, and I wanted to see him stay as well. But I think that the fan base of the Panthers is kind of throwing. I think they're expecting results too immediately. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've got to build around this franchise quarterback, and that's going to take some time. We got to put the right pieces into place, and I don't think that just carving through and turning over personnel is really going to get us there. I think it's going to take maybe some shakedowns at the higher offices to really kind of take a step back and look at the organization as a whole and try to say, okay, let's make some hard decisions and let's stick to those instead of just trying to patch the holes in this boat. I think we should probably just take a 50,000-foot view on this thing and say, all right, let's build it around. We decided on Bryce. Let's build it around Bryce. Let's, plan everything, all of our acquisitions, our offense, our defense. Let's build it around him. And I just don't quite know how that's going to look here. But I mean, I'm still a diehard, so it's been a tough one. But I think we'll definitely see some improvement next season. But to be determined. There's a lot of question marks right now for us.
All right, I'm gonna play a little armchair quarterback here with you too, or maybe armchair GM with this, because now you're looking for a new head guy, just like we did in Arizona last year, knowing it was going to be Cliff Kingsbury's last year. Who knows? He may get the U of H job now, back to the college ranks, what have you. But I feel like we got the right guy in Jonathan Gannon, who had Super Bowl experience, was a DC with the Eagles, or Nick Sirianni. But I'm gonna play armchair GM or armchair quarterback. You're building around Bryce. You look at that 50,000-foot view. You say, take a look at it here. What about a Ben Johnson coming in, being the next head coach of the Carolina Panthers? And the guy I'm talking about is the offensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions, the resurrecting Detroit Lions, and a Ben Johnson coming in taking over. Good idea for the franchise?
Man, the Lions have been doing better, and it seems like that. I'm not terribly familiar with them. I don't follow them as much as I probably should, but from what I've seen and what I've heard, man, I think he's got good head on his shoulders as long as he can stick to okay, we've got a mobile quarterback. We're going to have to design our offense around this guy, and for the love of God, get some O-line that can give him more than half a second to do something with the football.
Yeah. No doubt about it, too. And I tell you what, one of those backs I love is Chuba. Hubbard is a back that can just go, and
monster.
When he's on, he's on. And honestly, they're a team that loves to run outside zone, a little bit of stretch here and there, too. When they do that, they beat you on the perimeter. Not to say they can't do it between the tackles, but looking at a guy like Hubbard, it's another guy to me, at least with C-Mac gone out in Frisco, and a tough trade for you guys to make there, too, to accumulate draft stock there, too. But Hubbard's a guy you build around as well.
Absolutely, man. He is. He's got all the right things. As long as he stays healthy, man, he's good for 3 to 5 every time he touches the football. As long as the line's doing their job,
one of those guys that definitely build around. Hey, we're going to be right up there with you in that top 5 to top 7 pick, because I know my Cardinals haven't done too well. Where this year it's been a rough year. You get your quarterback back there just 3 weeks ago, and 2-10 is what it is. 2-10. It's that particular record. And we stick with our teams, brother. Sports is kind of like a drug. It is definitely out there, and it's I guess in a good way, maybe a negative way, who knows, but you stick with your teams. You don't ever give up, right?
Yeah, man. And it's all about the community. Even though we're having a tough year as Panthers fans, like one of my buddies lives in Phoenix. He's a big Cards fan, so it's like we all kind of like commiserate when we need to, but it's fun at the end of the day, It's just it's about the community, and I think that goes for anything, be it music as well. Like, we're all about our band as a community, and our fans are a part of that community, and we just want to enjoy. You're going to have wins, you're going to have losses, you're going to have great high moments in your career and low moments in your career, but that's a part of the process, just like life, like we talked before.
Yeah, I'm in 2 fantasy football leagues now. For you, I know you're diehard, so you got to have more than 2, right?
Oh man, I did fantasy for the longest time, and I got out of it probably right around 2020, just because it became too time consuming, and I was just becoming slammed in the studio, and I was like, yo, it's Sunday, and I can't give this 6 hours right now.
It's a lot too, no doubt. It's like having another job that you got to devote to sit, start players, to read the bios, to read all the points.
But it's awesome, man. It's much
fun. It's addicting too out there too. All right, let me ask you this: when either first song you got to play on stage live, and I guess it could be a cover back in the younger days when you knew music was like your calling, or maybe you sang it on stage or you got to play it. What was that first song that kind of stuck with you that you got to play as a member the first time you took a microphone?
Ooh, it was crazy, man. I think I was in high school, and there was a band that came in on tour. I can't even remember their name, man, but they played Eagles Take It Easy. And, I grew up in classic rock, so I knew the entire Eagles catalog, and they were like, the band came in and we had chatted before, and they were like, hey, you want to play lead guitar on a song? And I was like, cool. So I got up on stage, and they were like, we're going to play this Eagles song. And I was like, yes. So that was a good experience. And that reminds me of my dad, any Eagles stuff, Eagles, Doobie Brothers, Zeppelin, all that stuff. It just makes me feel, super connected. But yeah, the Eagles Take It Easy would be that one.
I like that. I like the good choice right there. All right, give me the plans for what you can out there. 2024, riding this momentum, a huge number of streams that I've seen pick up when those numbers came out too for the band. Goals, aspirations, things you guys are looking forward to. I'm sure new music is on the horizon for 2024. Probably working on it right now in the studio. What's going on with that?
All right, deep breath. The record is tracked and done.
Wow.
We got our final master back from Mike Kalasian. He was fantastic. But yeah, so the record's done. We are in the process of working on setting up a spring run, probably 2 weeks, and a summer run that's going to be probably 2 weeks. So we're trying to get this thing out there once we've got the merch ready, and we obviously have to rehearse and get the music ready, but
Sure.
there's a lot of logistical things we have to do, but definitely going to take it out on the road. We want to do a vinyl release. We're going to continue to release music about every 6 weeks until the record's completely, ready to be dropped. And at that point in time, we're going to be doing, as much press as we can, continuing to write. We are also working on a cover song right now that we're going to drop kind of intermingled in there just to, continue to do something for the fans and kind of tip the hat to bands that we like in the process. So yeah, man, just tons of activity, music videos. We definitely want to do a couple of those too. So just a lot of juggling going on right now, but 2024 is going to be a stellar year if everything shapes up to look the way we're going, that we want it to look.
I like that, man. Good stuff right there too. And we're riding that momentum, that wave of these succession of singles to do well for you guys so far. I know it's expecting bigger things from all the pretty things there in 2024. Hey, we'll end with this one too. What's the favorite food? Like having that bad day with Worth Weaver. What does he go out and get, or what does he make? What's your like go-to dish? What do you enjoy?
My go-to dish. Wow, this is incredibly difficult. This is the toughest question of the day, man. All right, favorite food. If I had to go with like cuisine, I'm probably gonna go with Thai food.
Okay.
But if I'm gonna go with like comfort food, I've had a bad day, I'm gonna grab the jar of peanut butter and a spoon, and I'll just see you on the couch.
Nothing wrong with that. I love it, man. That's the jam right there. No pun intended for PB&J, and of course, a little Thai food mixed in there too. Yeah. With the variety of vocals and the variety of music they play, check them out there. Chin Up Kids, the current single from All the Pretty Things. Worth Weaver coming up to join us here on the Backstage Pass, powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com. Hence the mix of sports and music right there, integrated very well. Brother, appreciate you being on, and definitely look forward to a big 2024 from you guys, and look forward to let's reunite again. Why not?
Yeah, Brandon, I appreciate you having me, and thanks for supporting us, dude. We really appreciate it. And yeah, check us out, hang out with us. We just want to make music for you guys to enjoy. So
can't wait. And if you're down near Texas, I'm coming out to an All the Pretty Things show.
I love
down here in Texas. If you guys pass through here in 2024 or beyond, no doubt about that. We're back next week. A brand new country group, or at least brand new to you guys. You may have heard of. I've heard of Neon Union going to join us. Ray Scott, Ashley Ray, and a whole lot more coming up over the next few weeks. And if you got Heartland got back together, we'll have one of the members from the group Heartland coming on the show here in the next few weeks as we close out 2023 and get ready for a big 2024. Thanks to our friends at KKTC 99.9 True Country out of Taos, New Mexico, and of course hightidecountry.net, and powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com, and our friends presented by Bangtail Whiskey. Check them out, bangtail.com, easyliquor.com, or Total Wine and Specs out there too, and our friends at honkytonktexas.us. We'll see you guys next week. Have a great weekend. Happy December, and if you're on a holiday break, enjoy it. No doubt about it. We'll see you